Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated. If you like this video and you find value in the content, like and subscribe, and we'll get into what I want to discuss. There's a lot of people on the online right and right of centre politics in general in the United Kingdom, and they make the mistake of demonising specific people. Case in point is this person here that has been all over Twitter and all over interwebs recently. Her name is Athika Hamid. She is a health ambassador in Wales in the United Kingdom. Irony is not lost on some people. I have no official comments on her appointment as a health ambassador, although
they could have done better.
But moving on. There's a lot of people saying that she needs to be deported. There's a lot of people saying she shouldn't be in that position. I'm not one of them. However, it highlights the issue, which is who's put us in this position.
Of the extreme right in many European countries is a response to the insecurity felt by the old Europeans, so-called old Europeans, regarding the new immigrants who came from the Middle East.
This is important because the framing is everything here. He's framing what he bills the extreme right-wing response as not needed. It's an issue to be removed. So he's not actually highlighting the issue that is being highlighted, which is the demographic insecurity, which is a valid, completely valid political position. He's framing that as the issue, all right? This is where the focus needs to be. People like this guy. He is saying that having the legitimate concern about becoming a minority population in your own ethnic homeland, that is the issue that needs to be addressed, not the imported diasporas from the Middle East or further afield. That's not the issue. Government policy isn't the issue. The issue is the people's response to it.
So I think that fighting Islamophobia and anti-Semitism is an interest of both religions and both communities, and when we do it together, it's going to be much more useful.
So we're going to leave this one here. It's obvious when you look at this person, when you look at this wee slip of a girl, it's obvious she is not native to the United Kingdom. That is plain for everybody to see. She is what people would refer to as New Welsh or New British, not Old British like me. That is what people would say she is. She's New Welsh to be politically correct. All right? Who put us in this position? It wasn't her, and it wasn't her family that had been imported into the United Kingdom against the democratic mandate or consent of the British people. That's not her fault. Just like when you see all of these boat people coming across the channel, it's not their fault. They're being welcomed with open arms. They're being put in 4 or 5-star hotels all over the country. And people celebrate when the hotel in their area is shut down. I, generally speaking, don't do that. And the reason I don't do that is because you're just shipping the problem to somewhere else. The problem remains. The issue that I will always come back to is, who put us in this position? People look at Steve Laws and people on what they would extreme right-wing views, some people would say they are. Why does he exist? He doesn't exist in a bubble. He didn't create himself. The system is rigged against the native British people. That is why people like Steve Laws exist. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I have made reference to this on my channel previously, and I'm going to mention it again. The baby boomers, the last generation before birth control was really a thing in the United Kingdom, caused the state to expand. It expanded exponentially, and it's still probably the same size, if not bigger now, than it ever has been. It cannot sustain itself. What does the state want more than anything else? It's not to be fair, it's not to be impartial, it's not to be just. It is to sustain itself. The state doesn't work for the people that we elect to run. It doesn't serve us. That should always be the case. The state should be the servant of the people, not the master. That has changed, and that needs to be reversed. If only there was a movement in Britain that could restore Britain to what it needs to be, that would be the point there. The enemy is the state. Now, I don't mean people are evil, although there may be some people in the government that are evil. I think most are mid-level midwits, and they're just very low IQ, very low resolution. They'll go up and they'll trump lines like diversity is our strength, don't look back in anger, and not really look at the detail, as long as they keep on drawing their big salaries and pensions, whether that's the civil servants, the permanent bureaucracy, or people in parliament. There may be nefarious actors, however, generally speaking, I tend to think it's incompetence rather than nefarious. Obviously, you've got big world figures that are probably pulling the strings, but let's not go down that particular rabbit hole on this video. Always remember that the true enemy is the people that put us in this position. Migrants per se, they're taking the piss because they're allowed to take the piss. It's as simple as that. If the state was stricter, if we actually had legislation in place that was followed, like the immigration laws that were passed in the 1970s, or we'd turn around and said we don't have to follow the Refugee Convention, the UN Refugee Convention from 1951, we actually had people that weren't political cowards that were asking or advocating that we do this, we wouldn't be in the position we're in, the complete shit show. So now we move on, and I want to move on to this now, and this demonstrates what I say. Polling, is it young people's fault we cannot afford a home? Across the generations, whether that's Gen X, Millennials, Baby Boomers, or Gen Z, generally speaking, most people think that they don't have any responsibility or little responsibility for the fact that they can't get a home. That is correct. Imported people to the United Kingdom are taking up the little resource that we have. There is not infinite resources, it's finite resources. So when you import millions and millions of people into the United Kingdom, it's not necessarily the immigrants' fault, they just want to better their situation. The issue is that you've got people in government that are enabling this, either because they're on the payroll of people that are going to make a lot of money, the clueless midwits, as I previously mentioned, or they actually think there is literally no difference between the imported people and people like me. This is why we need radical change. The state itself needs to be flexible and nimble. It needs to decrease when we have a population decrease and increase when there's more people to feed, or native people. These are just my thoughts. I hope this video has been helpful and instructive. Always remember, when you've got a black millionaire and a white millionaire, do you really think that the culture wars or the race wars is anything that they bother themselves with? I don't. They're both millionaires. I hope I've been kind, and I hope I've been precise. Don't want to demonise anybody, but remember who the real enemy is. Have a good day and thank you for watching.